morning. Today I'm going to go over how to create a Google form and all the little options that we have. So first off, in order to access your Google form, you would click in the little waffle, and I like to go through my drive because then it saves to where I want it to save, or you could just go straight to forms. So that's going to be the quickest way to do that. When you click this, it gives you some templates that you can use. I'm just going to start from blank. This blank quiz has the settings already where it will do grading for you. So it'll have like an answer key set up for you, but I'm going to show you how to change that in the settings. So I'm going to do a new blank form. So first things first, you can title your form just by clicking in there. And I'm going to title mine Practice. You can do a description, and you can see here that this form is automatically collecting email addresses from my school district, and you can change that through your settings. So you can actually click right there and it'll take you to that, or over here in the little gear, if you click settings, it will do that as well. So for classroom purposes, I really like to always collect their email address. That way they don't have to put their name in the form. It's automatically collected and I know exactly whose response it is. You can do response receipts. That just means that when they finish, they can actually get a response of their answers that they provided. I don't like to do that if I'm doing like a quiz, because then it tells them the questions. It lets them save the questions and then they can share that with their classmates. So I usually turn that off. You can restrict to people within your organization, or you can uncheck that, and that just means it can be sent anywhere. The only time I've had issues with that is when I've sent out like a form to like my FBLA club. If the students are on their phone and they're not logged into their student account, they can't access that form. But typically if it's for your class, they should be on a Chromebook anyway. So another thing to keep in mind is that if you're doing a test, I would limit to one response. That way they can't go back in and resubmit. It does show you that they've submitted twice, but I like to only allow them one. This also allows them to be able to go back in if they didn't finish within the allotted time, like your class period ended. It allows them to go back in and stay within their answers. So it saves their previous answers and they can go back that way. If you do not have this clicked and they submit without it being completed, it makes them start all the way over. So that is pretty important as well. If you want to allow them to edit after submit, let's say they ran out of time, you have to make sure you click edit after submit as well. Respondents can then see summary charts and text responses. If it were a quiz or something, I wouldn't allow that. But if it were just like a class survey, I would allow that. So that's in the general portion. In the presentation, you can choose to show your progress bar. You can shuffle the question order. That's pretty a good idea if it's like a quiz, if you wanted to. And you can do your confirmation message. So this will say your response has been recorded. Sometimes I change that to like, have a great weekend, or you did awesome. But you can change it to whatever you want. The quizzes tab here, if you want Google Form to automatically grade your quiz for you, and it will only grade multiple choice, it won't grade the rest of them. But you can turn this to make it a quiz. You can turn on your locked mode, which means that students wouldn't be able to access other tabs or other websites while they have this form open. Releasing the grade. So I only release the grade immediately if it's only multiple choice. Anything with a short answer, if you do this, the score that they receive isn't correct because you have to go in and manually grade your short answer or your matching ones as well. So I usually do later after manual review. Then you can choose what you want the respondents to see. Can they see the questions that they missed? Can they see the correct answers? And then the point values. So I typically just do the missed questions and the point values. That way, if they need to go back and retake it, it's not just like handing them the information. So that is safe. Also, you don't have to make this a quiz. You could truly just do like a response form. It doesn't have to be that way. So, but I'm going to leave that on so I can show you how that works. So in order to add a new question, it automatically has one for you already there. So we're going to just change it to question 1, for example. You have the ability to add an image. So this comes really in handy for like math teachers if you want to show like a graph that's already been created for you. If you can get a snapshot of that picture, you can actually just insert that in here. So I'm just going to do a Google image search for, I don't know, funny. Let's see here. So I'm going to do this little guy there. So you just click it and you can do insert. This could also be for if you just want to have them identify colors or anything like that. So there's 3 little dots here. You can, well, actually 3 little dots. You can change your alignment, you can change your picture, or you can remove it. You also have the ability to add a caption underneath it that maybe describes what the picture is. But if you click on the image, you can actually resize it by just clicking and dragging, because that was kind of a really big picture of our little ball with a Santa hat on it. So, so then you can add your options, option 1, option 2, option 3. Second. Loud out there. And then they would just click the correct option. Now, since this is a quiz, you'll see a little answer key at the bottom down here. In order for Google Forms to actually grade for you, you have to click answer key. So when you click the answer key, it'll have you select which option is the correct one. So I'm going to say option 2 is the correct answer, and you'll see a little check mark there. You can have multiple ones that are correct, so maybe you need to have them click 2 options. If you do that, I would say in the directions there are 2 correct answers, or check all that apply or select all that apply. That way, if they only select 1, it's going to count it wrong. They have to select 2 to get full points. Sometimes I will change like the point value. If there's 2 correct options here, I would change this to 2. But again, if they don't select the 2 correct ones, it's going to give them 0 out of 2 automatically. And so that takes some time to go back in and grade as well. So whatever works for you. So I'm going to click done. So we can add another question by clicking the plus button, and it's going to go down below it. Other options besides multiple choice are short answer, paragraph. You can do checkboxes. Drop down is really good for like vocabulary because it gives them the whole list. And what I do is that I create my vocab question here, or where they need to plug in their word, and then I do all my vocab options. So I would list maybe 5 of them, and then instead of having to redo each one, you can actually duplicate that. And so then what it would do is it would keep all your options the same, but then all you would have to change is your question up here. So click the little duplicate button, and you can have 5 different vocabulary words in here, and it's much faster to do it that way. Don't forget that you have to go back in and do your answer key. 1 point, done. Okay. You can do linear scale, multiple choice grid, checkbox. These are more for not grading. So if you're in the quiz, it's probably going to be these ones up here that are a little bit better. Okay. Up top, just some little options here is we can add in our date. So you can say, what date are you filling out this form? Or what's your birth date, for example? Or you could put in the time, if you're asking like for office hours, what time would you like to meet with me? All kinds of options there. There's a new little feature here that you can actually reuse questions from previous forms. So you can see I have all these forms created. If I know that I really like 5 questions from this take-home pay quiz, I can actually just take the questions off of there. So this would be useful if you're making like, just trying to update your information, or if you're making your like final exam, you can take questions from previous tests and add them all into one. So that's pretty cool right there. You can actually add in just some text that would maybe describe what they're going to see. You can add in just a straight up image here. So let's search for a, I don't know, dog on this one. Okay, and that's going to be, maybe you're looking at this image and you're going to have them classify each part of the dog's body, and you're going to have them use this image for every question down below. That's a good option for that. You can add in a YouTube video link. I've done this with like worksheets where I want them to watch the YouTube video and then answer the questions below. So that's pretty cool. And you can actually add in different sections. So it just split this first part into this section. So this could be like my first page where I'm like, you know, what day is it? What time would you like to meet? These are the directions, and then it moves into the questions on section 2. So what that does, let's go ahead and click preview. Oops. Preview. You'll see that I've got my practice here, and it's going to make them click next to go to the next section. So maybe you like to separate out your questions based on type of question, multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer, or you just kind of want to break it up so it doesn't feel like they're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So I really like to do that. To get out of preview, down here at the very bottom, there's a little pencil that just takes you back to edit. Oh, and we're going to leave. Or you can come back over here because that actually opened up a new window when you previewed it. So, you can change your colors, you can change your header. This is pretty basic with all the Google Suites. You can change your font style throughout and so on. Alrighty. Now, once you have this sent out, you can actually send this by clicking the send button. You can send it via email, you can send a link, you can add collaborators here. So if you want to just send via a link in the email, or if you want to embed this within a website, you can sure do that as well. I usually use my Google Forms within my classroom. So I usually send it out via the Google Classroom. So, and that's just by adding an assignment, which is really cool. So once you have it sent out, you can actually look at your responses. I've got 0 responses here, but it'll show you each different question, the total answers that were correct, or how many answered A versus C. So it has a lot of powerful information there. When I'm grading, actually, let me open one. Let me open a new Google form. Drive. Let me find one that I've actually created. All right, so this is one that I have created, and you can see that I have, well, actually, we'll just preview this one. You can see I have like where it starts. Then it has the information that I want them to do before they actually start filling in the form. And then now they need to answer the questions using this image here and here. So this is where they would answer that. So in order to see my responses, you can see I have 78. It shows the points scored. So this is just a summary. It tells you some questions that were frequently missed, which is really great because you can go back and be like, well, why did so many people miss that question? and then it tells you individual scores. So this is what's really cool is it shows you the percent of people that got it correct, and then where everybody kind of answered within each question. If you've got your short answer ones, you can go to the question and you can actually grade question by question. This is everybody's question number 1. So for 11, for example, I think, oops, it might be, if it were a short answer, this is where I would go in and, like this one is a short answer, this is where I would go in and grade. So it's really cool because you can say, yep, it's right, or no, it's wrong, or you can assign points accordingly. Or if you are looking for an individual student, you can scroll through the emails and you can see how that person actually answered the questions. So it's pretty cool there. So let's go back here. You can get an email notification for new responses. I do that if somebody has been absent, that way, and I've already graded it all, that way I know that I need to go back in there and grade. You can download your responses into an Excel format, and you can actually see your Google Sheet responses, and it'll put it all together. And that will just go into your Google Drive. So lots of ways to see your responses, lots of really cool things that you can do here. You can actually have them upload a file on here as well. So let's change this. File upload. So let's say they have a PDF that they had to fill out. This is where you would want them to upload that PDF. So it just says the files will be uploaded from the owner's Google Drive, and they have to sign in order to add to the form. And so you need to click continue. And you would change, file upload. You can allow only specific files. So if you just want PDF or if you just want a spreadsheet, that way you know they're uploading the correct file. That's what I would do. You can allow them to upload 1, 5, or 10 files. And let's go ahead and see what that preview looks like right there. So you'll see here, there's a little button that says add file, and they would have to add it from their drive or their device, which is kind of cool. I've never made a student do this because usually it's all digital and I would have them collect it through a Google Classroom. But I know we've talked about it using this for staff purposes, so. Cool. Well, that is Google Forms, the basics. If you guys have any questions, let me know and I'll be around.